Hello and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. On behalf of OTC Markets, we are very pleased you have joined us for our third day of our Precious Metals and Critical Minerals Conference. The next presentation of the day is from AbraSilver. Please note you may submit questions for the presenter in the box to the left of the slides. You can also view a company's availability for a one-on-one meeting by clicking Book a Meeting. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome John Miniotis, Chief Executive Officer of AbraSilver, which is an OTCQX best company, which trades on the symbol ABBRF and on the TSX under the symbol ABRA. Welcome back, John.
It's my pleasure. Thanks very much for having me. And good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for everyone joining today. It's really a very, very exciting time for our company. I'd say right now we're seeing a perfect storm forming for our business here. Firstly, I think silver has finally broken out of a very long sort of 50-year slump. And it's nice to see. And obviously we expect prices will stay elevated here going forward. And then secondly, and very importantly, Argentina has completely transformed its policies and is now also widely seen as an excellent jurisdiction for major new investments moving forward. And so I'd say AbraSilver is, very, very fortunate. We sit right at the intersection of these two very, very powerful trends. And so shaping up truly to be an excellent year for us with lots of positive momentum for us moving forward. Now, of course, there'll be your standard forward-looking comments made as part of this presentation. AbraSilver, our key asset, is called Diablillos. This is a very large-scale, high-quality primary silver project, as I mentioned, located in northern Argentina, near the provinces of Salta and Catamarca. This is a project that our team has really grown significantly over the last 6 years now. And so, year after year, we've had great success growing the resource of this project. We announced our latest updated resource estimate about 6 months ago now in mid-2025. And as part of that update, we showcased that we have about 200 million ounces of silver, 1.7 million ounces of gold. This is all in the measured and indicated category. Importantly, it sits all very close to surface and is entirely in oxides, meaning it's very easy to mine, it's open pittable, easy to mine, easy to process. So we expect very, very high margins as a result of that. Now, we've done a significant amount of test work and economic studies over that same time period as well. We announced a pre-feasibility study over 12 months ago, showcased exceptionally high economics, which I'll highlight coming up shortly here. But this is, again, a very high margin project that we're rapidly advancing towards a final investment decision, which is scheduled by the end of this year. Just quickly looking at the company's share structure and balance sheet. Very, very simple share structure, about 160 million shares outstanding with 0 warrants, very few options outstanding. So it's a very clean sort of share structure here. And importantly, very, very strong balance sheet as well. As of year end, we estimate we'll have approximately $60 million Canadian in the bank. That's as of December 31st last year. And that funding will certainly last us all of this year as we look to continue to advance the project by drilling, by advancing to a feasibility study, which is scheduled to be completed next quarter. And then, of course, doing some early construction activities as well prior to making a final investment decision later this year. Just quickly, you could see the share price. Again, we have lots of very, very positive momentum. In fact, on the OTCQX, we were ranked last year as the top among the top 50 best performing names in the OTCQX. And similarly, in Toronto, TSX Venture. We're now on the TSX, on the main board in Toronto, but most recently as well, we were ranked as one of the best performing names in Canada over the last few years. A large part of that is for sure focused on our strong strategic shareholder support as well. So you can see about 25% of the shares are held by strategic partners and insiders. Also, I'm very, very fortunate to have a very strong team around me here at ABRA, both on management and on the board of directors. And so I was formerly at Lundin Mining for a good part of my career. And as you can see on our board, we have a number of highly qualified board members previously from Lundin Mining as well. Marie Inkster recently became our chair of the board. She has phenomenal experience. She was a CFO of Lundin Mining for about a decade, and then was running the company as CEO. So that complements the existing board members. So very, very strong team in place as we look to move this project forward. You can see where we're located here. I'll try to point it out on the slide. So we're in the province of Salta, near the border of Catamarca. And Salta is widely seen here as one of the safest, most mining-friendly jurisdictions across all of Latin America. And so we're very, very fortunate. I'd say we maintain excellent relationships with all the local communities nearby. They're all very, very strongly supporting mining. In fact, mining is really the lifeblood for this part of the province. As you can see, we're surrounded by a number of lithium projects. There's also some gold mining going on as well. To the west of us, Fortuna operates their Lindero open pit gold mine. So, you know, this is a excellent jurisdiction. I'd say on top of having great infrastructure, roads, water, availability of power, etc. I'd say most importantly, I'd say we're very fortunate to be in a very peaceful, stable environment here, which allows us to really focus entirely on adding value at Diablillos. As I mentioned, Argentina has really undergone a very radical positive transformation over the last several years. They introduced this new legislative regime known as RIGI, which is a large-scale investment regime for new large-scale investments in mining and in other industries. And we're certainly going to be able to take advantage of this. And so RIGI, I'd say, has fundamentally changed the landscape of doing business in Argentina. You know, historically, Argentina has had a number of capital controls in place, which has made it quite difficult in the past, and is one of the main reasons why Argentina's mining investment activities has not seen the same level as Chile and Peru and in other nearby jurisdictions. But that's now changed. I'd say Argentina has certainly moved away from capital controls and now is really focused on capital attraction. And so RIGI gives you a 30-year stability agreement with lower taxes, eliminating export duties, removing foreign exchange restrictions. And as you can see in the slide, it compares very, very positively to any other country, not only in Latin America, but globally now going forward. And so we've applied for RIGI. And so only certain large investment projects will qualify. And we expect to receive RIGI approval here very, very shortly, certainly before the end of this quarter. You can see what the project looks like at site. Again, this is excellent environment for mining activities. There's really nothing else going on here, and so ideal for open pit mining. This just shows the track record of our exploration team over the last several years. Our exploration team has had stellar success, I would say, over the last 5 years now, in growing the resource on a very, very cost-effective basis. And so we've been very disciplined here on how we spend our exploration dollars, making sure we're maximizing all dollars going into the ground. And as a result, I'd say we certainly have among the lowest discovery costs in the entire industry. So over the last several years here, basically for every 11 cents we've spent on exploration, we've been able to add an ounce of silver in the ground on a silver equivalent basis, silver and gold of course. And so, we expect that's going to continue. What's important to point out here is that we had announced a pre-feasibility study, as I mentioned. That was based on the November 2023 resource estimate, which is clearly out of date now. That was just over 250 million ounces. We've since announced another updated resource estimate where we've grown that resource by over 35%. We added over or close to 100 million ounces. So the latest resource estimate is 350 million ounces of silver. But since then, we've completed our phase 5 drilling. That was completed as of year end. We've received all those results back, and we're now working on yet another updated resource estimate, which will be published at the same time as our feasibility study. And so the feasibility study is going to, of course, be now based on a much, much larger reserve than what was shown in the pre-feasibility study. We expect this is going to continue to add a lot of value here for our shareholders. And importantly, the exploration is ongoing. There's still significant opportunities to continue to grow this ore body here in multiple directions. And we're now on our phase 6 exploration campaign, and we expect some news flow to start coming from those results here in the very near term. This shows you sort of a depiction of the ore body. You can see, again, this is very close to surface, entirely in oxides, very important because it's easy to process. We'll be producing gold and silver doré at site with very, very good recoveries. So it's a very simple project. Again, there's nothing novel here at all. This is straightforward open pit mining with an agitated leach plant processing 9,000 tons per day. And as I mentioned, importantly, this resource is still growing in multiple directions. Towards the southwest, we have this high-grade silver zone, which we call the Jack zone. That continues to expand and is very, very silver-rich and near surface. And then we have the main Oculto ore body, where we've had some great success towards the eastern extension recently, where we've hit some phenomenal high-grade gold intercepts. This just shows you, again, the exploration potential, where our current phase 6 exploration program is focused, multiple areas here. And you can see, I mentioned Oculto East. We have had some excellent success recently. You can see here 31 meters of 10 grams of gold, 8.5 meters over 13 grams of gold in oxides. So some stellar results that we'll be following up here very shortly. We're actually drilling in them as we speak, and we should have the results within a matter of weeks. Now, looking at the economic study that we had announced, this was a pre-feasibility study. Again, this is now significantly out of date because the resource has grown tremendously since then. And obviously, commodity prices have materially changed since we announced this pre-feasibility study. So this pre-feasibility study is obviously extremely conservative, based on a fraction of the total resource and on a fraction of the gold and silver price that we're currently seeing. But even with that being said, this project, even with a smaller resource and extremely depressed silver gold prices compared to what we have today, would still have very robust economic rate of returns here. So you have almost a 30% after-tax rate of return, a rapid 2-year payback. And again, that's really because this will be a high-margin, low-cost producer. Our average all-in sustaining cash costs are $13 an ounce silver. So even if silver were at $25, I mean, those are excellent margins. But with silver being $80, of course, this would be a cash flow machine at current spot prices, or even anywhere near current prices. Now, for the feasibility study that I mentioned, we're finalizing the feasibility study. We expect that's going to be ready next quarter, and that will be announced. That's going to be a huge catalyst for us. On top of being based on a much larger resource, we are also factoring in some other optimization opportunities as well. So we expect now the project will be connected to grid power, which would be a huge savings for us. We're designing redesigning the waste facilities to minimize haulage costs, etc. So a number of optimization opportunities that we see adding great value here will be captured in the feasibility study. And then as we look at this project longer term, even beyond the feasibility study, there's significant potential here to further expand this project. And so you can incorporate heap leach material, which will be seen as an opportunity in the current study. We'll be highlighting that in quite a great amount of detail in the feasibility study. And then longer term, we are positioning to look at expansion opportunities as well. The feasibility study will be based on a 9,000 ton per day throughput rate. There's certainly potential to even double that throughput rate going forward. And so we see Diablillos right now, the feasibility study is essentially phase one of this project, and there's going to be multiple phases of expansion opportunities as we continue to move this forward. Now, phase one, of course, is again going to be based on 9,000 tons per day, which is the same throughput rate as the pre-feas, but that would mark this as one of the largest primary silver mines in the world once it's in operation. And so in the pre-feasibility study, we're producing over 17 million ounces of just silver in the second year of operation, which was a peak year. On top of that, of course, we're producing gold each year as well. But when you look at the large primary silver mines out there globally, there are not many at all anywhere near those production levels. And so Diablillos will certainly be among the largest primary silver mines in the world in a few short years once this mine is up and running. Now, quickly again, looking at the pre-feasibility study, which I mentioned is very outdated now, based on the much smaller resource and based on outdated views of commodity prices. If you only adjust the commodity prices for current consensus, and again, current consensus is, in my opinion, very backward looking. This is not a reflection of, I'd say, where we see silver prices going. So $42 silver is more of a 3-year trailing average, but that's certainly the long-term consensus right now. So if you apply $40 silver, essentially $3,300 gold, this project really has stellar economics. Again, almost a 60% after-tax rate of return, less than a 1-year payback. And you can see, if you look at that, the net asset value there on a per share basis, it'd be almost $20 per share Canadian. And so we're still trading at a steep discount to that valuation. And that, of course, is still based on the smaller resource in the pre-feas, not accounting for all the resource growth we've had, not accounting for those optimization opportunities that will be incorporated into the DFS. And of course, at current spot prices, as I mentioned, this is absolutely a cash flow machine here, and your payback is measured in a matter of a few short months. So this is clearly a very highly profitable project that we're advancing as quickly as possible and looking to make that construction decision, final investment decision before the end of this year. So this slide really sums it up here. I'd say we've come a long way, but certainly this is a critical year for us. Importantly, this is a year that's certainly going to be filled with a number of upcoming catalysts in the very near term. And so as always, throughout all of this year, we expect to have a steady stream of news flow from the exploration side, from our Phase 6 program, where we'll continue to grow the size of this deposit. But importantly, in the next several weeks and months ahead, we'll have a number of near-term catalysts, such as receiving our environmental impact permits. Those are key, of course, at the provincial level, both Salta and Catamarca. We're waiting for those approvals. We're literally in the final stages there. And so we're anxiously awaiting those approvals here at any time. It's certainly a matter of weeks, in my opinion, before we get those in hand. So waiting to get the final approvals in place. And as I mentioned, at the federal level, this new RIGI incentive regime, we applied for that in December. That's going very, very fast. And again, we're in the final stage of that RIGI approval process as well. So we expect to receive RIGI approval before the end of this quarter. And then we'll be completing the final feasibility study based on the new reserve estimate, which will all be announced in the second quarter, so next quarter. So very, very, very busy time for us here. but exciting. I'd say AbraSilver, without question, has never in its history been in a stronger position than we are today. I think we have all the elements in place here. We have the capital, we have the team, we have a steady stream of upcoming catalysts here to be able to continue to unlock significant value for our investors. So truly a very, very exciting time for us. With that, thank you very much. Happy to start answering some questions. I see a number of questions in the Q&A already. I'll do my best. I don't think we'll have time to answer all of those, but let's start going through these. So first question here, how are institutional investors changing after the latest drill results and phase 6 launch? Are you starting to see more interest from generalists or precious metals funds? Yes, without question. I'd say as the company has grown over the last several years, I think the marketing that we're doing is entirely now focused on large institutional investors. We've had great, I'd say, traction in generating interest from very large, stable institutional investors. And I absolutely see that level of interest growing going forward here. And so the company now, again, with a $2 billion market cap, we're very, very liquid. And again, as we get closer and closer to that construction decision later this year, we see the interest from institutional investors, without question, being at an all-time high for us. So the next question here, you're lining up EIA approval, RIGI approval, DFS. If those three land broadly as expected, what does a realistic re-rating scenario look for ABRA within the next 12 to 18 months? So great question. And yeah, that's why we are so excited here. These catalysts here are imminent, as everyone knows. In the mining industry, even if you have a large-scale deposit, oftentimes it's almost a matter of decades before things start coming into fruition, before you get permits and you can do all the engineering and studying work and advancing things towards a construction decision is a multi-year process. This project, actually, the discovery was made back in the early 90s. And so, again, multiple companies have been advancing this project now for the last 30 years. But really, now it's all coming to a crossroads. And so it's exceptional timing for us as we get the permits, as we get RIGI, as obviously silver prices, again, are at an all-time high, gold prices, same thing, Argentina having turned the corner. So for sure, the re-rating has already started, and I expect that's certainly going to continue, especially as we get ultimately into construction and obviously into production in about 3 years' time. Next question here. Several analysts highlight ABRA as one of the higher beta names in silver. In a scenario where silver moves meaningfully higher, how do you think ABRA's torque compares? No, that's an excellent question. Not sure how I get back to the slides here. Just give me one sec to show you that leverage that we have. Let me see, where's that slide? So if I can push this. Yeah, so I think this is a great summary. Essentially, for every 10% increase in silver and gold prices, the net present value of this project increases by 30%. And so normally we outperform silver and gold prices by about 3 to 1. And historically, you can see that's been the case. I think this was their share price performance last year. You can see that correlation. So if silver moves up, essentially, let's say 100% from current levels, you would expect with no major re-ratings for us, we would be up roughly 300% or so. That seems to be the case historically. But as, again, not only are we going to be standing still here waiting for higher silver prices, but certainly as we advance this project towards a construction decision, typically you'll see your multiples increasing as well. So the net present value increases by that amount, but as you go from being an explorer to ultimately being a producer, your multiple also increases at the same time. So you would expect that significant outperformance from gold, from silver, to, if anything, continue to increase as we move this project forward. And in relation to our peers, I mean, there are very, very few high quality primary silver projects out there at this stage. So we do benefit from scarcity value as well. There are not many high quality primary silver projects out there globally that are going to be in a position to make a construction decision this year. And so we're very, very fortunate, and I see us being uniquely positioned to capture any upside torque here. Just going back to the questions. Hold on a sec. So next question here. How do you see the updated resource? Okay, so with phase 5 drilling now complete, phase 6 underway, how do you see the updated resource DFS in mid-2026 changing the market's perception of Diablillos as a tier 1 primary silver asset? Yeah, look, I think it goes without saying, based on even the current resource, we already see this as a tier 1 asset. As I mentioned, based on those slides, this will be likely the largest primary silver mine once it's producing. We expect production in the DFS in the early years is going to be well north of what it was in the pre-feas. So well north of 17 million ounces a year, which would make it clearly stand out as among the largest primary silver mines globally. But with the additional drilling, with the additional study work, that's only going to continue to increase. So this project continues to grow, and I'd say, if it's not on people's radar screens now, we certainly expect it will be as we de-risk this and achieve all those upcoming catalysts. Several more questions here. So Salta continues to rank as one of the most mining-friendly provinces. How much strategic value do you think the combination of RIGI and Salta's track record adds when you add it? Yeah, look, again, we're very, very fortunate to be in Salta for a number of reasons. We have excellent relationships with the local communities, and obviously you can never take those for granted in today's day and age. And so Salta is, I'd say, has always been seen by investors as being an excellent province within Argentina. But Argentina as a whole, as I mentioned, had a number of capital controls in place up until 2 years ago. So there was always foreign exchange restrictions. It was quite difficult and cumbersome to get money out of the country. And so the problem historically with Argentina has always been those capital controls. Salta, despite of that, has seen major mines being built. So again, surrounding us are a number of lithium projects, which are now operating. I mentioned Lindero, Taca. There's a number of projects and operating mines in Salta, and those have steadily advanced here. But now with Argentina's sort of fundamental change in the landscape of doing business, I'd say, yeah, really Salta stands out as clearly one of the most favorable jurisdictions, not only in Latin America, but globally, anywhere in my opinion. I mean, where else do you get a 30-year stability agreement where you're guaranteed taxes are going to be at 25%? They're guaranteed no export duties. You can export gold and silver outside of the country without having to pay any duties. You can import equipment into the country without paying any duties. And of course, there'll be no foreign exchange restrictions. And so that really changes the landscape. And with Salta always being a great, friendly place to do business, I'd say we're very, very fortunate for sure. No time if there's maybe time for one more question here. Have 25% insider strategic ownership. Are you in discussions with potential partners or planning to self-fund through to production? Great question. I think, look, right now we're in a very, very strong position to evaluate all those alternatives. We are going to be having those discussions on project financing opportunities. I mean, we've already started that process. We're in preliminary stages right now. But certainly in the second half of this year, I expect we're going to make a formal decision there on the project financing in a lot more detail here and look to raise the money to enable construction moving forward later this year. So with that, I know I'm out of time. Please feel free to email me directly, john@abrasilver.com. Always happy to interact with investors. Sorry there wasn't enough time to answer all these questions, but certainly great time for the company. If you email me your questions directly, happy to reach out. Thanks very much, everyone.